Hey, fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here for another, not necessarily Whiskey Wednesday, but we're having a Walters Beer Wednesday. Hey, so I want to wish y'all back. I hope you're all ready for another chat about travel because it's been really great to see that people are really getting excited about travel again. We've been getting more and more questions. People have been DMing us on all the social medias and people have been watching again. It's really exciting to see people getting excited about travel, whether it's Bobby or Betty or Brittany or people that don't start with a little B. It's glad to see people are back traveling again. But I want to welcome you all here. I know it's a random Wednesday. We're here. It's where I'm at. We're about to have a huge rainstorm, which will turn into a ice storm, which turned into a snowstorm. So we get into all in the next 24 hours, which is kind of funny. So greetings to all of you that are out there, whether you're in Kansas City, Texas, Oklahoma, or wherever, maybe New Zealand. Good to see you out there. So what I want to kind of talk about today, Bobby's going to be in Rome for a month from today. You lucky Bobby. What I want to talk about today is some things you should think about for summer of 2022, because I've seen the prices starting to creep up again on flights. And with all the cutbacks in flights, there's going to be some interesting connections you're going to have. I know for us, we have a flight to Italy that used to be from where we live to Detroit to Europe, or to like Amsterdam to Italy. And now it's where we live to Atlanta to Detroit. So we're going like dink, 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 dink. And you might have a bunch of connectors this summer to get places, especially if you're not going to main hubs, because the main hub stuff is still around. So you have that. So if you're going to Lisbon, you're going to Frankfurt, you're going to Munich, you're going to Paris, you're going to Rome, you'll be okay. But if you're going to go to some of those other places, whether it's Innsbruck or you're heading to, Dusseldorf, it's going to be a little more complicated, or at least probably an extra leg or two than you're used to getting. So be ready for that. Also, I will say is make sure you're always checking your flight details, because as things are progressing, with more and more people being out there traveling, more and more people coming up, what you're going to see is more flight will pop up, but there might be changes in your flight. I know one of our trips, we're going to Puerto Rico here in a little while, and we've gotten 4 updates about changes in our flights. Sometimes it's just like, oh, we're just changing our flights by 10 minutes. And some of it is, oh, well, your 6 a.m. flight is now a 1 p.m. flight. So instead of getting in to Puerto Rico at 1 p.m., you're going to get in at 10 p.m. You're like, I just lost a day. So do be careful with that. Make sure you're staying up to date with your things. So go back and if you have the airline, always sign up to get the airline points and have your account with them so you can go and check the latest update on your things. Also, make sure you go on your email and you set, whether it's Delta, United, Ryanair, make sure you check your spam and make sure they're not going into there, because that does happen quite a bit. So do be careful with them. Now, Zabnik, thank you very much for the super chat. Are you still coming to Michigan? We will be in Michigan. We'll be there this summer. That's going to be one of our U.S. road trips. So we're going to be going up your way. Well, if you are in Michigan, I'm guessing since we're coming to Michigan, that's the question. That is one of the things we're probably going to do a family little road trip on. Maybe take the kids, each of them get to take a friend, and we'll go up there and have a good time. I haven't traveled in Michigan for quite some time, but I know like Traverse City was gorgeous, and where I stayed was like a cabin on the water with some buddies, and we just had a blast when we were there. Then Mackinac Island, which is really popular with the fudge and the riding your bikes around there and the carriages. So a lot of good stuff up there in Michigan. And I'll be honest with you, pure Michigan, their advertising so good, so good. Illinois has always Illinois. I think, I don't know. It's in Illinois, or all in Illinois is for their COVID-19 stuff. But I'm like, all in Illinois, it would be a great tourism thing, because all the stuff that's in Illinois you could really sell. So yeah, Michigan's doing really good with their stuff there. So there's that. Hello, Nora. Good to see you. Travel Adventure with Eric B. Good to see Eric on here. We're hopefully to work on something this summer together. Oh, my goodness. It is Amadir Mafia. Jiro is on here. For those who don't know, Jiro is my father in Brazil. I lived with him for a number of months.
Oi, Jiro.
Yeah.
Amo.
See, Jiro got Jocelyn to come out of hiding. So that's how awesome Jiro is. We're actually going to be going to Brazil to visit him later this year. So very excited to go down and see him and give him lots of hugs and kisses, because we love Archie. We love Bye or Bye. So good to see you on here. And his son, it's his son's birthday today. So Luciano, congratulations on the anniversary of his birth of your son. So congratulations, buddy. Alexander, good to see you on here. Okay. Zictronics. It's a lot of vowel, a lot of not vowels, a lot of consonants in that one. So advice for not sweating as much when you go. One thing I'm going to tell you is a lot of people will shower and then they'll go out, but the shower, the hot water will get you already kind of warm. What I would do is take your shower earlier in the day, let yourself kind of acclimate before you go out, because if you're out of kind of wet from the shower, you'll start sweating more quicker. One thing that you might want to do is if you are going to be going to museums, or you're going to be going around, if you hit in the bathroom, take some paper towels and just damp underneath. That will help. Also, here's what's funny is the one that's worked the best for me is actually Sure deodorant, which is actually kind of hard to find now because it's kind of like a cheaper brand. But that's actually one that I found has done a very good job of stopping the sweating for a bigger traveler. I'm a bigger traveler, so that's helped me. That's one thing there. Also, one thing I've seen is if you know you're going to do a lot of walking and stuff, give yourself more time. That will cut down on some of the sweat. So there is some stuff there. Mia 305, is Aruba worth it for a Caribbean trip? So we had a trip get canceled and we ended up going to Aruba instead. And if you like New England and you would like New England and New York to be in the Caribbean, then Aruba's for you. I think I saw more Tom Brady jerseys in Aruba than I saw in Boston. So I mean, it's beautiful. They call it the Happy Island because you just chilled out there. It is a little pricey when you go there, but it's a Caribbean island. What's nice about Aruba is there's no hurricanes there. It's not in the hurricane track, so you can go any time of the year to visit. Personally, I prefer Jamaica. I prefer Puerto Rico. I prefer other places. But if you want the most Americanized kind of prep for American tourist islands outside of Puerto Rico, Aruba is going to be for you. So that's my thing there. Dudley Do writes in the house. What's up, Dudley? Thank you very much for the super chat. Let me find your thing here. Hello, Mark. Can't stay to chat since my wife wants to watch Little Lord Fauntleroy. Sorry. I understand. And since Valentine's Day was relatively close, I think it still falls in that Valentine window. You got to do it. You got to do what the lady wants. Even if it's not Valentine's Day, you got to do what she wants. So I understand, Dudley Do Right. Thank you very much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Good to have you on here. Derek from Means to Travel. Good to see you on here. Also, Rob from Trip Hacks DC. You'll see Rob popping up. You might have saw him a little bit this past weekend in our Shocks of DC video. And he has his own Shocks of DC that we work together on. And you'll see Rob popping up on Simply Jocelyn, I think, next week or the week after. And you'll see him pop up on Wolters World a couple more times in March. So all kinds of fun stuff there. Mr. Means to Travel. We're going to be working with him in Chicago here in a while. So lots of good people around here. Zabnik, thanks. Check out the Motown Museum in Detroit. Yes, that would be one of the places we definitely would go. And Johnson really wants to check out Detroit because see the transformation of the city. So that will definitely be a future thing. We will see. And the Henry Ford Museum. She wants to check that out. Kim, good to see you. Terry and Mark Finley, good to see you as well. Chris Frankie, good to see you. So here's one thing, just so y'all know, as the chat's going by really quickly, wherever it shows up on your thing. Notice if you look on there, there's a poll for me to ask you, did you know, have you subscribed to some of our other channels? And I have our other channels listed down here. So if you want quick travel advice, you have Walter's World Shorts. Just go to Walter's World Shorts on YouTube. You'll find it out. If you want to see food from around the world, around the U.S., what you should eat, go to Simply Jocelyn Walters. Just put Simply Jocelyn, and you'll see her picture there. And if you want some of my business things to see what I do for my day job, you can go to @Professor Walters and find us there. So please do subscribe if you haven't, or let us know which one you do subscribe to. But please do go and subscribe to some of those, and you'll see some other fun stuff we do. Let's see what else is on here. Thomas Reiser, good to see you, neighbor. Terry Finley, Aruba, Jamaica, come. Oh, don't get in trouble. It was funny. Liam was filming a video, and he and his friends started singing, like, wait, we got to watch out for the copyright. I'm like, I don't know if you're quite that close, my friend. So hitting tax 26. Hey, good to see you again. Ever been to Bonaire or Curacao? I have not. I've talked to the tourism minister and a member of the parliament there about coming to Curacao and doing some stuff, and also with Bonaire. So that was probably something we'll get to eventually. So you do have that. Mark, how do you remember so many other YouTubers and their updates? That YouTube is my thing. Like people have been watching the Winter Olympics. I don't. I watch YouTube. You know, and I like to keep on track. So a lot of the YouTubers I talk to are friends of mine, like Rob from Trip CC. He's a friend of mine. You know, Rob wants to say, what would you say to someone who eats pupusas like a taco? You're a fool. Pupusas are a Salvadoran food, and people think it's a taco and they wrap it up. No, which is you rip a piece off and then you pinch this like cabbage mix that you pour salsa on and you pinch it. Okay, it's like a little tiny taco when you do it, but use it kind of like a pincher grabber thing. That's how you do it, Rob. That's how you do it. Love you, buddy. Hello, Mexico. Good to see you. Nick P, our traveling crazy man here. I got to tour a haunted mansion with Eric B. Here in Louisiana. So freaking cool to meet him in person. I felt the chills, but no other ghost action. Yeah, the chills because you're with Eric B. because he is a badass. Sorry, pardon my language. Eric is a super cool dude. Nick, I'm glad you're having a good time. Nick travels all over. He's got a channel if you want to see about train travel all over the U.S. The guy, I don't think anybody has ridden the trains more in the last few years than Nick P. He's been all over, so definitely check it out. As Terry Finley says, 134 folks, should be 134 likes on this video. Please, we'd appreciate it if you could give us a like. It's always very nice. Now, my thing just jumped all the way back. So if you've had a question, and I haven't asked it yet, please feel free to put it back in. Now, don't post it 13 times in a row, but put some in there so we can start answering some questions. So I'll have that. KK Slider, would you ever visit Antarctica? Yes, we've actually looked at going there. It is not a cheap thing. I want to go with the boys. Liam's not really old enough to go yet at 10. So in a few years' time, that will be one of our Christmas trips because you can only go in the December, January, February window is really the only time to go. And I want to make sure it's one of the ones that you're kind of guaranteed to go. So we might actually fly in, but we'll see. One of the candles just fell over. Spooky. So that will be one place we're going to go. Tips for travelers. Gary Bembridge, he was there on a cruise, and they have this thing called the Drake Shake. So when you're having the boats, what you don't understand is one of the reasons why Antarctica stays so cold is there's a current that goes around the entire continent. And it's an extremely strong current. And of course, when you're a boat in a strong current, it's got some rocking. So the Drake Shake is real, and Gary's got a good video. It's on his shorts shelf if you want to check it out, going through there. And there's been other YouTubers that have gone to Antarctica, so you can check those videos too. Michelle is asking, any attraction recommendations for New Mexico? So New Mexico, you're probably going to fly into Albuquerque, but Santa Fe is number one. You can go up to Taos. That's nice. There's some national parks and national reserves near there by Santa Fe that's worth going to. Albuquerque is distant fourth probably in terms of doing things when you're there. One thing that's very interesting when you go there, you'll see a lot of Native American places you can visit, a lot of Native American jewelry you can buy and stores. That's really cool, especially if you go into the Native American stores and you talk to the locals. They'll share their stories. Like Jocelyn, we spent hours at one place because the guy was telling his family history, and it was just a really cool experience. The food there, it's Southwest. So a lot of people think Mexican food and Tex-Mex is the same as Southwest food. No, they're all cousins. So they're similar. So you'll see food you recognize, but grab some pozole, get more. It's more Southwestern food, so you'll enjoy your time there. Let's see. Thanks, Betty. Hey, John, good to see you on here, my friend. Okay, Artillery wants to know, what's a good vacay hotspot weather-wise to visit right now? So right now, you're looking end of February. You're probably looking near the equator kind of stuff. So, yeah, probably Aruba would be okay. Trinidad and Tobago would be fine. Costa Rica is probably kind of popular at this point. You could be looking at Roatan Islands in Honduras would be kind of cool. Probably Colombia. So that would be hot, warmer spots. Because you could go farther. You go down to Brazil if you want, and there's some hot stuff on the beach there, so you can do that. So if you look like physically hot, so there's some stuff there for you. Ivy Dover, thank you very much for the super chat. Is the Eurorail worth it, or would you rather use domestic flights within Europe? Honestly, I reckon if you're doing long distances, domestic flights just for the time saver. And honestly, if you're over 26, if you're under 26, Eurorail is a good deal. But if you're over 26, they at least used to, like, I've been turned off by Eurorail for so many years now. I could be wrong, but it was like 26. You had to get like the first class one, and all of a sudden it made it prohibitively expensive, like not worth it. Because what I do now when we do our trips is I'll just buy the individual train tickets, and overall I find it cheaper that way when I combine the train tickets and then the Ryanairs or EasyJets or even British Airways flights. Sometimes it works better that way because some of those Eurorails you have to like buy a region, or if you buy the whole thing, and then if it's a reservation required, you still have to buy the reservation even if you have Eurorail. So like in Italy, you can't just hop on you can hop on some of the trains, but if you're on the fast trains or the ones that have seat requirements, you have to pay that extra for it. So there is that. I love you too. Bye.
Good night, y'all.
Let's see. David Aruda, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. That's nice of you. Thank you. Renting a car in Dijon this summer. Very nice. Dijon de Chamonix. Driving enough car in Nice. Chance in getting auto transmission for the safety of all. Book direct. Okay, so this is one thing, honestly, over the last just 5 years. The ability to get an automatic has increased tenfold in Europe. I mean, well, tenfold, zero, it's still zero. But like, it's gotten a lot easier. Probably in France, you might have to pay probably a little bit more for the automatic. But it's worth, like you said, for the safety, it might be worth it for you. You can get them. I would definitely book as soon as you could. And I would probably book, you can book direct. But honestly, booking direct or booking through the corporate site on the bigger ones, they do the same stuff. So it's not that much of a difference. One thing I would say, if you're going with kids or anything and need seats, make sure you put that request for the seats now. Put the request in for the GPS. You may think your phone's okay for it, but the thing is the phone GPS is just a step slower than the actual car GPS. And that makes it the car GPS just makes life a lot easier. Because especially when you're like, I have no idea where the heck I am right now. What's going on? They're like, you are on Rue, blah, 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 blah. You're like, all right, cool. So that would be my recommendation for that, my friend. So I hope that can help you out. Scorpio Sue, good to see you on here. Let's see. SPB, I don't know where SPB is. Oh, Gato Carabato. Hi, Mike Greens from Argentina. Good to see you on here. We have our Shocks of Argentina. Was it Shocks of Argentina came out about 2 weeks ago. The Don'ts of Argentina are going to be coming out the 20th of March, somewhere around there, like right after St. Patrick's Day. Because, of course, early March, we're going to have more Ireland content because we were just there, so I got to put those things out. Yeah, as Betty said, Tex-Mex and Mexican food is definitely not the same thing. That is very, very true. Ernesto, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Love you guys. Domestic flights are going up. Yes, flights are going up. You're seeing, especially, I mean, I've seen this in the numbers and the views we've had and on our blog. For those who know, we have a blog, waltersworld.com. So if you're at work and they don't like you watching videos, you can just read the blogs on there on waltersworld.com. But one of the things I've seen is flights really are starting to take off in terms of their prices because we're seeing more and more countries are cutting back the restrictions or eliminating restrictions. And you're seeing that now you're going to see that they're going to try to start attracting the summer travelers. And that's why, for those of you who don't know, we actually have a travel class on BrightTrip, brighttrip.com/waltersworld. It's in the description where it's travel planning 101. And people really don't start, like if they're new travelers, sometimes they don't start planning their travels till March for the summer or April. And that's where you're going to see like some really pop up. So if you know where you're going to go, it's probably better to book earlier. I mean, it's usually better to book early, but it's better to book it now because as more places open up and more people start traveling, once you see your friends, like my brother went to like Bora Bora for New Year's. I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's time to really start going to cool places again. Yeah, or not cool, but you know what I mean, like crazy places. You're gonna see that. And domestic flights are no different. I mean, flights I was finding for like 350 a few weeks, a few months ago, let's say, are now like 500. So something to think about. So thank you, Ernesto. I appreciate that. Hello, Kathy Wolters. Very wonderful woman. Stanford Bridge. How do you remember so many destination details? I found that after about 2 years, I start to forget specific names, neighborhoods, restaurants. So I struggle to make recommendations. So, yeah, I forget what I was going to say. Actually, we do travel a lot, and I do a ton of research on every place I go so I can have as much information as I can. And I just kind of remember the place I go. But the thing is I want to make sure I remember, and I'm lucky that I can remember. But I don't know. It's just those things kind of stick with me. Now I don't remember everything. Like one thing I'm really bad at is remembering like the names of small museums. I remember a small museum and what town it's in, but I won't remember the exact name. Like the Picasso's at the Rose Garden or Rose Museum in Lucerne is really cool. But you know, there's things that pop up. Also, since I do this for a living, I relive my travels. So when I edit the videos, it's like going back and reliving that trip because I have to go through all the pictures. I have to go through all the B-roll, the background videos, and figure out where to put it in. So for me, it's like a nice reminder. You know, I was putting together a Savannah, Don'ts of Savannah video. So this weekend you get a double. You get the Don'ts of Turks and Caicos and the Don'ts of Savannah. And it was nice to relive it. I'm like, oh, that sandwich was amazing. You'll see an oyster po' boy in the Savannah video. And I'm like, oh, that was so good. So that's one thing that kind of helps. So let's see. Harriet and Jim are planning to go to Portugal and Cabo Verde in the fall. Have you been to Cabo Verde? No, I have not. I have not been to Cape Verde. I have a lot of students that have gone there on their vacations because since Portugal and Cabo Verde have so much relationships, that's kind of like a a vacation destination for people from there. But I do not have anything personally. I'm sorry. See, I'm a horrible person. I apologize, Jim, that I don't have more for you. Carolyn asks, do you take travel pics with your phone or carry a big camera? So I actually take most of the pictures and the B-roll. Like, you know, so if you ever see it where I'm talking to the camera, that is actually a camera. I'll put that up on a tripod and talk to that. So I have my hands free and I can talk and I'm more calm, not calm, but whatever. But most of the B-roll you'll see, like the background videos and the pictures, take with my phone. Just because it's easier to have. Also, sometimes I don't want to have the bulkiness of the camera with me, so I can be more of a tourist when I'm there. And that's why, you know, you don't see me. You notice a lot of our B-roll is like people walking by or the kids walking by. It's not us doing stuff because I want to go experience the stuff, and therefore I'm not filming it. I'm experiencing it, and I don't feel. It's not that I don't feel comfortable. It's like I just don't want to have like the what do they call it, the selfie stick and all the stuff there and walking around. I think that's rude for the other people that are in the tour with me or traveling with me. So I do the B-roll, do my 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, go experience it, and then I'll talk about it later. Now I know that's not the most exciting way to make videos, but I think it's something that works for me. So Espantabo, hey! Hi, Walter. I'm from South Africa. Welcome. I've been watching your channel in preparation for coming to the U.S. Also, I'm finally here. Went to D.C. last weekend and had a blast. Awesome, my friend. I'm glad you made it. That is so cool. And that's what I love to hear when people have traveled and they use our videos and it's helped them out. That is awesome. Ambrose, thank you very much. I know on this it doesn't show it, but thank you. I appreciate it. That's the thing is I'm using StreamYard, as you can obviously see, and that's so I can make these things pop up on here. And so it doesn't show the fun emojis and stuff. But I also have it on my screen. I have the stuff where I can actually see it. So that's kind of fun to see. Yes. My mom said give me a thumbs up, so you better give me a thumbs up. Thanks, Mom, for sticking up for me. Thanks, and Tom. I hope we had a good time. I love DC was a fun time. We were there. I was there with my mom a few weeks ago. We had a good time. Okay, Kaiki Kone, very specific. Do you have any tips for a couple who wants to give birth to a baby in another country? So Jocelyn had our youngest son was actually born in Portugal. I was working there at the time. We were living there at the time. There was that. Um, if you're going, one thing you have to realize is there's a certain point they don't let you fly anymore. Airlines will not let you fly like after 7.5, 8, like 7 months. Is it 7 months pregnant? I'm not sure because there's too many complications that can happen. So that is one thing I would look at. Um, Also look at why you want to do that because some places you can go and you can have a baby and the baby will get citizenship and then you have to take that citizen out of the country. It's not always easy. I know we've fostered before and fostered a kid who was not from the U.S. and all the stuff that went through with it. You got to be careful with all that. Michael, I'm guessing this is the question you've been asking. As a YouTuber, what advice do you have for a novice on filming when traveling? Just film it all and you can do stuff with it later. Like that's one thing when I try to make videos, a place I've been to a lot of times, like I was doing a Savannah video and I have all these pictures from when we were first visiting there and Jocelyn and I were first dating, but I don't have any video. And I'm like, oh, why not take video? Video everything. But the thing is, you're not going to use a 10-minute section. Do like 5 to 10 seconds of something, 5 to 10 seconds of something else. So you have that B-roll. So in case you want to, you just want to do a voiceover channel, you can do that and you have your own videos there. So that can help you out. So that'll be one thing there. Another thing is getting used to people looking at you like you're crazy when you talk to yourself when you're filming. That was the hard one. I remember in Switzerland, people would just walk up behind the camera and start going A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, like trying to throw me off. And I'm like, yes. And I just keep going. And what I find is actually work best. You just keep talking to the camera. Then they realize you're not going to talk to them and they kind of wander off. So there's something there. Oh, thank you, Angus. I appreciate it. New Zealand, one of our, yet again, another trip that got taken from us from COVID. So we're going to have to figure out when we're going to get down there to visit you all. I got too many friends down there not to visit. So there's that. Lori, I have been to Liechtenstein. Honestly, if you're in Innsbruck, you can do Liechtenstein and Vaduz, the capital, as a day trip. And you'll go through Vaduz? No. What's the name? There's there's a town in Austria that you go through that's actually better than actually going to the capital Liechtenstein, to be honest. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but yeah, it's easy to do. Train bus combo, very nice. Hey, Lift Kick, good to see you. DJ Woody, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Fly to Barcelona in April for 4 days, then taking the Avlo, that's the fast trains for you don't know, to Madrid for another 4 days. Any tips where we should stay for reasonable prices? So I've found actually Spain in general, Madrid and Barcelona, you can actually get relatively affordable places that are decent, actually in some of the more popular areas. I like the El Born district in Barcelona because La Rambla and the Gothic neighborhood's a little bit too touristy, a little too much. But right next to it's El Born, where it has the cava bars and stuff like that. You can do that. Staying by the beach and down that way in the more modern part, you don't get as many of like the traditional things. It's more like you're going to the beach, get that anywhere. So that would be something there. Madrid, I take students there, and we always stay downtown. And I haven't had a problem finding affordable accommodation because I've got to take 25 students and me and another professor. And of course, we don't splurge on the students. We have certain limits, but you'll be able to find really decent stuff downtown Madrid, no problem. So that's nice to hear. Angus, hey, thank you again for another super chat. That's very nice of you. Kia ora to you too. How would you recommend 4 lads from New Zealand spend 90 days in the U.S.? Okay, 90 days is a lot of time, so you can actually explore a lot. Here's the thing is, you're not going to want to rent a car for 90 days in the U.S. because that is going to add up. So what I would do is I would pick like a region by region. So I would do maybe, I don't know, do a month in like the Northeast. So you fly to New York, and what's nice about the Northeast, you got trains, you got buses, you got a lot of public transportation, so you don't have to rent a car unless you really have to. So you could fly into like, well, I guess if you come from New Zealand, you start at the end of the thing, okay? But I'm going to tell you this. New England, you get New York, Boston, you get Connecticut, you go down to DC. There's a train that goes through all that, which is easy to do, and visit places. Philadelphia is really nice. So you got a bunch of stuff there. So you get a month there. Then you you go to the South, like fly into Atlanta, stay in Atlanta, then rent a car. And from there, you're going to kind of explore the, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, getting Savannah, Georgia, Charleston, South Carolina, get that southern stuff, and you're going to finish off and drop off the car at the airport in New Orleans, okay? And that's a month there. Then from the New Orleans one, you fly out to California, or you can fly out to Vegas if you want, or even maybe South New Mexico. But you're going to do the Southwest in California and finish that off for your last month. That's how I would do it if I had 90 days, okay? So I hope that helps out a little bit. Let's see. Are you part of AAA or other travel association or loyalty programs? Would you recommend it? Yes. We do have AAA, and I highly recommend it because I've had blowouts all over the U.S. I've had tows, all kinds of things. Roadside assistance, it's worth the whatever $100 a year or $150 a year. It's worth it just to make sure that you have that connection. Honestly. Michael, this is a really good question. I want to talk about this. Michael says, any tips for meeting people while solo traveling? I have a trip to Malmö planned for New Year's. That's in Sweden. And it will be my first time solo traveling. So this is one thing that the pandemic has given us is the ability to have something to talk about with people all over the world, because 2020, we all were doing the same thing, sitting on our butts at our house, right? And so you can say, what did you do? What TV show did you, what Netflix did you watch? Because Netflix is everywhere. So you have that commonality. That's a good thing. You got to find that point of connection. Once you have that, you have something to talk about. Now, if you're traveling by yourself, there's some kind of this is for long-term travelers or people that are going to move abroad. A lot of times what I tell them is like, look, what do you like to do at home? If you like to play tennis, go find a tennis club and start playing tennis there, or sign up for some lessons, or sign up for a group class or something. You'll meet people that way. You like going to the gym, go to the gym. You'll meet gym people. You like comic books, find the local comic book store. So these things can help you to meet some locals. That's how I've actually met quite a few people while I've been traveling. Ambrose, thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. It does help. We do use that. We are setting up. We're trying to design. So we moved this past summer. So of course there's still boxes all over the house and nothing's unpacked. But you know how it is. But we have a room we want to turn into a studio. Yes, there's the green screen stuff, but not for Wolters World. We only film Wolters World on location. But for like some of our shorts and some of my business videos and other stuff, we want to make a new studio. So we're right now saving up to get new like my camera right now. I have a Sony Alpha 4,000 or 6,000. I don't know, like 4,000. Like it's, I'm no joke. It is from like 2013, 14. We've been using these for a long time, and all the batteries are starting to fuzzle out. Like we're saving them now to buy new camera equipment, buy microphone stuff, so we can actually do some more stuff filming at home, because our kids are getting older, and you'll notice it's a lot easier to travel with kids when they're little because school doesn't care. But now our oldest son is a freshman in high school, so I can teach him algebra and geometry, but I can't teach him Romeo and Juliet, right? So he needs to be here. So I'm trying to figure out other ways. So we're looking at developing a studio here. So that's where your super chats and all your stuff, it actually really does make a difference for us, because we don't really have, if you notice, you never see any sponsorships on our channel, because one, we're like, we want to, if we're going to work with companies, it's somebody that we believe in, because I wouldn't want to recommend something that I wouldn't use to you all. And I'm sure maybe eventually we'll have like, oh, this video was sponsored by whatever. I'm not going to say it's never going to happen, but it hasn't happened. Because a lot of companies, when your whole thing is like Wolters World, honest travel advice, like, no, we want you just to say what we tell you to say. So thanks, man. That makes a huge difference. So thank you. Let's see. MCC12, thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to come back to MCC12. Here's your question. What is your outlook for the reduction of travel restrictions as we move into 2022, specifically regarding Europe, planning a European honeymoon in June? Congratulations! Honestly, as the restrictions, you're almost seeing some countries like fight who can lower the restrictions soonest. One thing I would look at, if you're looking at your honeymoon trip for June 2022, look at the countries and what they've done during the last 2 years. Which ones have shut down, not let people do stuff, lock people up, like lockdowns? Because if they've done that, if there's another, because we might have another uptick, there might be another version or variant or whatever. They're the ones that are probably going to lock down sooner. So kind of look and see who's been open for business. When I'm planning a trip, I'm like Croatia. They were open all 2020, 2021. People could travel there. They're probably going to be open no matter what. So that's something to consider when you're looking at your travels. I think, like, as I think if you're vaccinated, France just announced that you don't have to test before you go. I think you might see some of that, and you might see a not test come back. I mean, that's the thing is, as this pandemic turns into an endemic thing, you're going to see it's like, well, it's part of life, so we're going to go from there. So I think June will be good. I think it'd be like last summer where May and June was great. July, Delta came, and then it scared everybody off of traveling. And I think we're gonna have a similar thing. You're gonna have all this stuff, and if a variant comes, it'll scare people off again. But there is so much pent up demand. And I'll be honest, in 2021, people still didn't want to go abroad. 2022, people want to go abroad. Like I'm finishing. Like today, we put out the Don'ts of New River Gorge, West Virginia. It's the newest national park in the U.S. 10 out of 10. Like the worst performing video we have had in, I don't know, 4 years. I mean, well, outside like right when COVID first hit, like just nobody watched it. Like nobody watched it. And that I know it's like, look, part of it's West Virginia. Not a lot of people go there. But I'm also like, people are like, you know what? This year people are thinking like, maybe I'm going to go to Europe. Maybe I'm going to go. Like even, some places in Southeast Asia talking about opening up and eliminating restrictions. So it's going to be an interesting time. And there's the bent up demand for international travel is there, and you're going to start seeing that in the prices. So think about it and get your stuff booked up, okay? And congratulations. Risotto eater. You sound like quite tasty. Any good barbecue in San Antonio, or should I stick to Tex-Mex? Going to Austin for a music fest in May. Figure I'd head over to San Antonio since it's close. Yeah, there are some barbecue places, but San Antonio's not the biggest barbecue thing. You'll probably have better luck in actually Austin for finding barbecue. There's some more famous places there. San Antonio does have some, but there it is the puffy tacos and stuff. So that would be my recommendation, especially if you're going to just go for a day trip or something. It's going to be easier for you to find those things. Okay. All right. Punch Bowl Delirium. I don't know why. I want to go to a party or a rave right now, just reading your name. Thank you very much for the super chat. Any tips for a solo trip to Southern Ireland? Okay, so I'm going to assume you mean the southern part of the Republic of Ireland. So one thing is one of the biggest destinations down there is Cork, which is a large city. I am not the biggest fan of Cork. Like, by Cork, there's a town called Kinsale, which is just south of there, which is on the coast. Love Kinsale. You should stay there, go drink at the pubs, eat at the pubs at night. That's great. You can go to the Blarney Castle. Yeah, you might not want to kiss the Blarneystone right now, but you can go to Blarney Castle. There's a lot of really great little villages down there you can check out. Waterford, I was surprised. We were in Waterford a few years ago. It was one of those, we're coming from the south, heading up to the north. We're sure head back to Dublin. We stopped there for the day. I'm like, dude, I wish I would have stayed here a couple of days. It's more than the Crystal. So that's very nice. The Ring of Kerry and Killarney. I like Killarney. Killarney was very, very nice. The Killarney National Park is there. You can check out and you can drive the ring road. The Ring of Kerry. I actually have a Don'ts of Killarney video. I don't know when you're going to plan to travel. I'm probably going to put that out more towards Christmas time because we were there right at Christmas time. So it's all like Christmas stuff everywhere. And Christmas in Killarney is a famous Christmas song. So that'll probably pop out then. But those are some tips I have for you. So thank you very much for the super chat. Let's see. Jal, are there any guided military history tours you would recommend? Would you others to avoid? So I'll be honest. World War II ones, it's not that they're a dime a dozen, but there's a ton of World War II ones. So just look at the reviews and see which one ranks well. That's good. But you've seen so many movies, and like the World War II, like Normandy beaches and like Utah Beach and all the Omaha Beach and the cemeteries, they're so well done. You almost don't need a tour guide. But if you want to do World War I stuff, go to Ypres, okay, Ypres in Belgium, and get a guided tour there. Because then you because here's the thing, World War I, none of those guys came back and talked about it. There was no PTSD. There was shell shocked, but they never talked about anything. So you don't see the movies. I mean, yes, there was 1912 and not Dunkirk, but 1912, the Nolan movie, which everyone pointed out, like, see, there's movies about a movie, not like World War II. There's hundreds of them. And so that's why I would definitely do a guided tour for World War I battlefields, because you learn so much when you're there. So that is nice. Did you break your collarbone in Innsbruck? No, I broke my collarbone in Levi, Finland, in the north of Finland. And then I had an 18-hour bus ride afterwards, and I had to lay on the ground of the bus. And one of my friends thought my shoulder that I got snapped was one of the steps to walk down to the bathroom. So when they were coming up the steps, they thought they were stepping on like the thing to jump over me so they wouldn't hurt me. And it was actually my shoulder. And I was like, oh, and I couldn't scream because it hurt so bad. But a friend of mine was watching. She's like, oh, the amount of pain on your face. It was horrible. I'm like, yeah, it was. It was bad. Timothy, the Metro in Paris is very reliable. We use it all the time. No problems there. Oh, Joseph B., thank you very much for the super chat. How much time do you leave minimum between connection flights and transatlantic flight? My two options are 1 hour and 45 minutes or 5 hours, but it's through Chicago here, and I don't want to miss the flight. So, Joe, my big thing is if you're like doing a United flight to a United flight flying into Europe, or a United flight and Lufthansa flying to Europe, most likely you're still going to be in Terminal 2. So you're going to be in the same terminal, so you'll be okay with 1 hour and 45. However, if you're going to have to be flying into Terminal 2 and then go to Terminal 5 to get a different airline out, that's when it could be a little more problematic because their plane train is outside of security. So you'd have to go out, take that down, then go back through security again. You might be able to make the 145, but I would be worried. So I would look and see if it's like a United and United or a Delta to Delta, or because you'll see it should tell you if it leads from Terminal 2 and Terminal 2. If it's like you're going like Thai Airlines, a lot of times they're from Terminal 5. Look on the O'Hare website. It'll say which airlines leave from where. Like you could look like where you're going to go. You could actually kind of put that flight in, see what it gives you, and then go look at that. Go to like O'Hare.com or something like that, and O'Hare departures. Look for today's version of that flight and see what terminal it's in. If it's in T5, that's the international terminal. It's going to give you more time. You're going to want the 5-hour one. Okay, so I hope that helped, Joe, because I know what you mean. I have the same worries. So this is quite the controversial topic. So Jim and Harriet ask, what do you think? And thank you very much for the super chats. I appreciate it. What do you think of the proposal that the airlines are floating around about banning unruly passengers for life on a no-fly list? I bet it goes through because here's the thing. Some of these people are putting people's lives at risk. Think about it. Someone opens up the emergency exit while you're in the air. Anybody that's not tied down, they can fly out. You got your baby there. Boom, that baby is flying out the window and gone. And you're like, oh, well, they didn't, just because they didn't actually get to finish it. No. This is the thing is to deter people from doing this. One, don't plow people full of alcohol, maybe as much, but that's no reason. There's no defense for what these people do. I think one, I tell people, you do stuff like that, you'll be banned from that airline for life. And there's only so many airlines. And it's not like more airlines are popping up. You notice there's less and less airlines. And if they share their list of who's a jerk, I could definitely see this being something that's going to go through. So that's why you really got to think about these things. Ryan Rigley, let's get more likes on here. Only see 30 likes. See, no one likes me. I know it. If you could give a like, I would really appreciate it. But if you can't, I understand. You can give it a downvote if you want, or you can leave a comment or whatever. I just appreciate y'all being on here. JF, what's the word on the podcast? I like Walters World shorts. How about Walters World t-shirts? But that's funny. So those of you who don't know, we used to have all of our merchandise on waltersworld.store, and you can see some of the old merchandise there, but it's not for sale anymore because the company we used, we did a ugly sweater thing, and people were getting the ugly sweaters Christmas sweaters after Christmas. It was just a disaster, and I just didn't want to use them anymore. And it was left such a bad taste. We took everything off. I actually have a couple boxes of stuff in my back of my office, actually. And now we're looking to do a new one. I'm trying to decide what company to use. That's why you might have seen a question before. I asked, what are some of the companies you've bought t-shirts from that you liked? So we're working on that. So I would say probably April we'll have t-shirts available again and other things, because we used to have beer koozies, we had shirts, the sweatshirts like this, we had all kinds of stuff. So we're we're working on that, Jeff. So we'll have that. So Billy, wife and I are traveling to Montreal from the U.S. next month. Haven't gone international since before COVID. Well, it is worrisome the first time. You're like, but don't worry, it'll be fine. A little nervous about testing to Canada and re-entry. What's your experience been recently? Honestly, if you get the take-it-home test, they're pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It was no problem. You just got to upload your results. Like that was the toughest part, is like uploading the stuff. But they've got it set up. Your airline will have a stuff you'll have to fill out and put together. It wasn't bad at all. It's just making sure, like if you have, like Delta has where you can order them and then you can take it with you so you can test there. And then you like video, you like have your phone and videoing yourself doing it, and here's the results and stuff. So they have it. It's pretty straightforward, Billy. So don't worry. Go and enjoy Montreal. Ross wants to know, am I going to come to Australia at some point soon? Probably not soon, but we will get back down there. I know we were supposed to go there for Christmas of 2020 with our New Zealand trip as well. And of course, all the fun stuff that's happened, that's been pushed back. I know this year, 2022, my big focus is to go see my friends that I've missed. So we got a trip to Italy for a wedding. We're going to be seeing friends in France. Hopefully we can see some friends in Lithuania. We're going to Brazil, see some family there, some family and friends in Germany. So we're doing that. So 2023 is going to be the big year of going to new places. So the soonest we would probably get is 2023, probably December-ish. So fingers crossed. Let's see. Do I live in Chicago? No, I live in Illinois, but I do not live in Chicago. Skittles. Hey, Mark, you feel safe traveling to Europe with what's going on in the Russia crisis? Yeah, I'm not worried at all. Not worried at all. Let's see. So this is Ask Me Anything. As an academic, what is your opinion of Wikipedia? What is the best article you've read? What's the worst? Do you allow your students to edit Wikipedia? Oh, they can edit all they want, but they can't use it in a paper. I'm like, go find the source for that, because anybody can write it. Because you'll see how people will make fun of things like, if there's any big sporting events, like there was one, it was like the Chicago Bears, like family allegiances, daddy, Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, come on, that's why you got to make sure you got to check those things out. I think for Wikipedia, it's good to give you an idea what's going on, but it's like when you hear a rumor, like, yeah, most likely there could be something, but let's go and research some real sources to find out. So there is that. Oh, we will be in Chicago filming with Liz and Derek from Means to Travel. So we have that. Hey, Darian, good to see you up on here. Oh, Vampire Mayhem. Tips for visiting Helsinki for poor people. So I was there as a student, so I was poor at the time. You're a kid. So Helsinki, what's good about Finland is their stuff is very much outdoor based. So if you're going in the summer, so like light is all, it goes to like midnight, like till late night. So you're doing stuff. People love to be outside. So you got the outdoor stuff. Your hotel you stay in will probably have a sauna, so you can do that when you're there. If you're going to save money, you got to go to the kind of like Aldi kind of stores and buy there. If you're going to be buying food and stuff, that can save you quite a bit. Finnish hotel breakfasts are really good, and they give you a lot of food to choose from in their buffet, and a lot of it's local stuff. So you can actually try a lot of the local food that way to save some money. Because overall Finland it's not a cheap thing. It's not like Switzerland or Norway expensive. Like if you live in New York or California, like bigger cities in California, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's about the same. So it's not as bad as it was about it. What about Portugal? Portugal's great. I love it. I lived there for 5 years. I did my PhD there. My youngest son was born there, so it's very nice. Vincent, I do not know about Central Pennsylvania. We've only filmed in Philadelphia. We're going to Pittsburgh this summer to film there, so have some scrapple. That would be my biggest thing. Means to travel. Watch the West Virginia video. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you, Thomas, for watching it too. I appreciate it. Betty watched it as well. I see I'm getting to this part of the thing. So that's the thing, is that's why I ask. If you have a question, it hasn't popped through, I haven't answered it, please you can put it in again, because going through these to find them to talk about them, a lot of stuff kind of goes through there. So Let's see. I'll try to catch up a bit more. Wow, there's like tons of questions here. MCC 12, what's your ranking of the Scandinavian countries to visit in order? To visit, I would probably go Sweden, Norway, Finland, or Denmark. But cities-wise, I'd probably go Stockholm, Copenhagen. Those two are like really close. And then Helsinki, Oslo for like the capitals. Jimmy C, how do you decide where is next to go? So I'll actually ask the kids where places they like to go. We actually ask our fans. So for a number of years, we had one international trip or two international trips actually a year that our fans voted on. So we've gone to Mexico, Costa Rica, Iceland, Japan. These are all things that our fans voted for. So we'll do that. This year, though, it's like I want to go see my friends. And so that's where my international travel is going to do that. But 2023, I think we're going to have a lot more of asking our fellow travelers where they would like us to go. So you're going to see more of those. Hey, where do you think we should go? So, hey, where do you think we should go? Put in the comments. We'll do that because what I'll do is I'll ask for like an idea. And once I get like the top 5 or 6, then I'll do like a poll and see how things are. And we go from there. Oh, Grace, thank you very much for the super chat. Planning a 3.5-month trip to the UK coming from the US. Things to prepare for at immigration customs at the airport where they inquire about savings, bookings, etc. Been saving for a long time. Not really. They don't really ask for too much, especially if you're coming from the US. They'll be like, the only questions we've ever got is like, what do you come here for? Like, oh, vacation. Like usually what I say is like, I'm here to help the British economy by spending a lot on hotels, museums, and souvenirs. And they usually get a laugh and they're stamped on my way. So that's something to think about. Though since you're 3.5 months, 3.5 months, you can stay up to 60, or you can stay up over like 90 days, or look and see how many days you can actually stay in the UK. That might be something they're like, wait a minute. So you might need to go over to like France for a day or two and come back or whatever to reset. There's different things you can do with that. But yeah, the only time I've seen them stop people, if they're coming from, sadly, it's if they're coming from South America, Africa, or Asia. That's where I've seen most of the time they'll stop people and be like, hey, prove you have the money. So one thing, if you've been saving up, like you have your phone. So yeah, here's my bank. Like they might, well, show you, here's my bank account. But usually the one is like, show us your credit card. Like you got a credit card, you should be okay. So cool. So I hope that helps, Grace. So, okay, do you think a week is long enough for a trip to Europe from the Midwest? If you're going to do a week, I would not try to do 10 countries, okay? I would try to do a week. I'll try to do 3 cities because then you get a time to enjoy, like feel the cities and get to know it better than running through everything. I think what would be best, if you're looking at a 7-day, what I would do is take Friday off of work, leave Friday morning. So you get in on Saturday, because remember, you got a day, it's an overnight flight from the US to Europe. So you get in on Saturday, and then you go that Saturday to the Sunday, and you fly back home on Sunday, because when you leave Europe coming back to the US, you arrive back on the same day. So that could be a good way to get a little bit more time. And then you're only taking like that one extra day off of work. So then it's a Friday, you leave Friday, then you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you got 9 days. So that's something to look at for there. Carolyn, do you recommend getting an international driver's permit when renting a car in Europe? I think it's basically a translation of your regular license. Yeah, that's all it is. They're like $20-$30. Some countries require you to have them. Some don't. Ireland doesn't care. Germany doesn't care. Greece, if you use one of the big agencies, they care. So that would be one thing I would look at, is where you're going to be driving to, Carolyn, driving at. But honestly, all you have to do is go to your local AAA and take a couple of those, like, square photos and your driver's license. You pay them. It's done in honestly 10 minutes. Sometimes it's just you feel more comfortable with it. And depending where you're going to go, they might never even ask for it. So something there. Skittles, you just spent $20. Could not save responsibly. Don't. They got their question answered, and I think it was probably very helpful. And that's one of the things, is sometimes it's worth it. Like, this is actually a good point of when it's really good to actually hire a guide versus doing it on your own or doing one of those free walking tours. If it's something you really want to know, something you really like, it's worth to pay for it because you get more out of it. I know for me, when I go to sites I really want, I'm going to hire a professional guy that's just for me. Because if I go on a free walking tour, people will just, they'll ask 90 questions. I just have to hear what Sarah's questions are the entire time. They're like, but I want to know my stuff. That's when it's worth the pay. So that's actually responsible paying because you're saving time. And now they don't have to wait and hope that I actually, answer their question. A stupid tourist. Oh, hush now. You're not a stupid tourist. There's no stupid tourists. They're just learning tourists. Hi, Mark. Thank you for all your advice through years. I love your work. Thanks. Thumbs up. That's awesome. Really, I really appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, Agent Sandra car trip. Is it CIA? Oh, Agent. Oh, she's I like the name. Love your videos. Thank you. They're a lot of fun to watch and make me feel more confident and prepared for travel. That's what I want to do. I want to help you be prepared so you can travel better. That you don't need me. You don't need a guide. You can do it on your own. So that's great to hear. Anyway, what places in England do you recommend visiting outside of London? Like outside of London, like just outside, or like besides London? If I say besides London, my favorite place to go: Bath, Stonehenge. Oh, York is by far my favorite to go to. The Peak District is really nice. The Lake District is always very nice. You can go see a lot of like the stately manors. Those are my go-tos right there. So let's see what else we have here. Ooh. Brian Wrigley, come visit Egypt. See the pyramids of Giza. Hike up Mount Sinai. Visit. That are all the places we were supposed to go. Egypt was on our summer 2020 trip that got canceled. So, Ryan, those are all places we wanted to go. We will get back. Each is one of those places that's one of my, I want to go that I haven't been to. It's like Egypt, Israel, New Zealand. Those are 3 countries I haven't been to that I want to go to. Those are my top ones. So, there is that. Kyle, I have not been to the Azores or Azores. My PhD coordinator's from there, so there's at least that. Do you have any experience with Airbnb in New York City? I have had enough that I tend to do hotels when I go to New York. Though the hotels in New York are overpriced and very small, the Airbnbs in New York City, there are some. Actually, if you're going to be staying out in one of the boroughs, they're probably better, I think, than the Airbnbs in Manhattan for certain things. My big thing with New York is a lot of the flights I take, I get in at noon. And then you can't get the Airbnb until 4, and I don't want to carry out all my stuff. So that's why I tend to do hotels there more than other places. So thank you for the super chat. The double super chat, I'm going to guess, so you can cancel that second one because there's that there. But you can get them. Just be careful. Make sure you check their cleaning fees because they might have a really good price, but then the cleaning fee is really high, and that kind of makes an extra day or two of stay. So. And that's for anybody. How Airbnb has it set up, you might see that it's only $150 a night. You're like, wait, I'm staying 3 nights. That should be $450. Why is it $700? They're cleaning fees and stuff. So do watch out from that, okay? Amadou, hello, Mark. Greetings from Canada. Do you have any idea when the U.S. will lift its COVID test requirements for fully vaccinated travelers coming to the U.S.? I have no idea. It's easier to find out other countries. It sucks. I know. I'm sorry. Let's see. Brighton's nice. Yeah, Brighton's nice. You go down there. I used to go to Brighton. I dated a girl, and her mom delivered the IKEA catalogs in Brighton, so we would go down there a few times, more than a few times. Chris Frankie, good to see you, my friend. Is it possible to do a day trip to Canterbury from London or a night stay? No, you can do it. I've actually done that twice as a day trip. There's one of those it's a small world after all for Canterbury Tales when you're there. Oddly enough, it's worth going to do. So that would be one thing, Chris. And I would recommend. I actually like Canterbury. That was actually a good day trip. That's another good day trips from London, somewhere a little bit farther, but you can do Oxford, Cambridge, Canterbury, Brighton. You can actually get to Stonehenge and Bath. It's a little bit farther, but it's not that far. So those are all really doable. I'm not sure. All of you should stay a night in, but Chris, you only got the time. You can definitely do a day trip to there. Hey, Kayla, did you leave the door open? I have a teenager who went outside, and my butt is cold right now, so I'm going to guess he left the door open. Let's see. Oh, Matt Healer Winters. Good to see you, my friend. Aw, it's nice to have all you back. Jazz wants to know Airbnb versus hotels. How Airbnb has jacked up the cleaning prices. Let people do that. My used to be if I'm 3 days or more, I would do Airbnb. Now I'm like 4 or 5 days or more that I'm doing Airbnb. Otherwise, I do hotel, just because the added on costs really kind of suck. Let's see, Annie, U.S. college student going to Rome. So you'll need 3 days in Rome to see all the main sites. Then I would go up to Florence and do some sightseeing there. And don't do Pisa. It's not worth it. Go to Lucca instead. You'll have a better time and better fun. So let's see. Oh, thank you again. All these super chats. Thank you very much. Any advice for booking hotels, Airbnbs in New Orleans? Even off season, looking at May, it's still so expensive. It is. That's why when I go to New Orleans, I usually do hotels because, yeah, it's crazy. The Airbnbs have super high like damage stuff because so many people go down there to party. Actually, I've done until 2021. We would do New Orleans guy trips 4 years in a row. And that was the big thing. Like we would do hotels because the Airbnbs were off the charts expensive. So I have that. Let's see. Cal Travels, have you done Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey Tour? Yes. I was just there in September, and my buddy and I went on the Bourbon Trail. We actually have a Don'ts of the Bourbon Trail video that you can watch. So we put it out. So we were in September, so I think it's from October. But yeah, no, we have a Don'ts of the Bourbon Trail video to help you out with that. It's worth going. I had a really good time. You just base yourself in Louisville and go around there. Okay. Yes, Laura's right. Oxford is a nice day trip from London. Let's see. Mike, all this England talk is making me crave Nando's. Yeah, that's crazy. It's funny. When I first saw Nando's in England, I'm like, hey, that's got a Portuguese chicken on it. I was a Portuguese place. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of different stuff altogether. Let's see. Oh, Chris Bates. Hey, Chris. My nephew and new niece went to Barbados on their honeymoon. Nice. Both tested positive there. Another 10 days. Look, they paid for the insurance. It got 10 more days. Yes, this is one of those things. Getting insurance this summer in case there are those things so you can't get back home, you want to get that. And honestly, it's not as expensive as you think it's going to be. And you don't have to buy it from your airline. There's actually companies that just focus on that. And you can buy it for your things. And our buddy Liz from Means to Travel, she has a video that talks about that. So just look up COVID and travel insurance means to travel on YouTube, and her videos will pop up. So that would be something I would look into. Yeah, McCab 2000. My wife and I are doing an Airbnb in northern New Mexico. It's a 2-night minimum stay, and only one night was available. They're charging us a $50 cleaning fee. Yeah, I was to place in Key West. It was a $300 cleaning fee. $300. It was my buddy and I. And I'm like, no one cleaned this place before we even got here. I was so mad. I think I made a video about it too, how upset there's. Let's see. Luca has a great wall you can ride around with on bikes. It doesn't have all the cheesy tourism stuff like Pisa does, but it's like 30 minutes to an hour away on the local train to Florence. So you can use that as your base and go to Florence as a day trip. Cal Travels, do you stay with one airline or to get status and miles, or do you just go for lowest fare? So I usually use them. We fly Delta. We fly Delta because now I have platinum. My wife has platinum. My kids have silver. Like we fly them so much, we always get upgraded. So we always do that because I know even if I pay a little bit more, the upgrades I'm going to get will make up for that. Now, having said that, I don't always buy the Delta code share stuff because sometimes they're like $700. And I can go with another one for like $200. I can't justify that with 4 people. And so that's why I tell people, like, yeah, get the miles, get the status. But when the flights are that different, that the price is that much higher, sometimes you got to go the other way, even if you have that status, because financially speaking, it's tough. So, see, Andy Cohn, hey, good to see you again. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm going to do a day trip in the Grand Canyon South Rim next month. That's cool. What do you recommend doing? Can we park inside the park? What's the best way to see sights? So it's not like you're going to drive. You can drive, no problem. What I would recommend, what's the name? Jocelyn has a sweatshirt from the thing. You want to go rent bikes and ride the South Rim. So you can rent the bikes and do it on your own, or you can do a tour, and they'll take you for like a 4 hour ride or a 2 hour ride, whatever you want. I would do that because they stop every so often to give you the like geological history. That was kind of I really enjoyed that, and I was lugging both of the kids in the back of the thing, like the little trolley behind it, like But if they were, they would have been a very easy ride. So I would recommend doing that. If you want to do like any of the hikes down, you can set that up through the ranger station there. So it's very easy. That I like the South Rim. You're gonna have a fun time. That's really cool. Oh, if you're going to be staying near the rim, you want to say that book early because those are things that book out really quickly. Hey, I'm going to Mexico. Cool, in September. Very nice. I've never flown domestically, much less abroad. So I don't know what to expect from Mexico or travel in general. What are the bullet points to know? Okay. I have a video. Look up, it's like border crossings, Wolters World. It should come up. But it's, customs, like border customs, international border customs, Wolters World. There's a video. I walked through it. Oh, Caleb and I just got upgraded from Delta. Funny we said that. It's got a notification for that. But what's going to happen, you have your ticket, and what you're going to do is download the app for the airline you are using and put in your numbers. And if you don't have like a miles number with them, sign up for their program and then put in your information so you can get points or miles for your flight. Okay. It makes it easier in case something happens. They have all your stuff. It just, life is a lot easier that way. And you start collecting the points, the miles. Okay. So you're going to go to the airport. Like you'll check in online, but you'll go to the airport. If you want to drop off your luggage and do the check and get your stuff there, you can do that. Or you can do carry on if it's a small bag. Now remember, there's a rule, the 3-1-1 rule. Liquids, cannot be more than 3 ounces. Okay. So think of it like the small toothpaste thing. You can take that when you're going. Flying, it's pretty simple. Like they'll say 2 hours for domestic, 3 hours for international, whichever you want. You'll check in at check-in, and then you'll go through security, and they'll be like, take off your belt, take off your shoes, put your bags on things. So you put your bags on there, it goes through. No guns, no knives, no explosives, nothing like that. No hand grenades, Lucas. Okay, no hand grenades. So you can't take those things. You'll go through, and then once you go through there, you go find your gate, and they'll announce like you look on your ticket, they'll say, you are zone 4. So you wait till they say, zone 4 to Mexico, board now. So you go, you get on your plane, you fly there. When you get off the plane, it'll say customs passport. You go to customs passport, and then they'll stamp your stuff. Then you grab your bags, you walk out the door, and you're good to go. It's pretty straightforward. I hope that helps you out. But Lucas, do watch the video, International Customs Wolters World on YouTube. That'll really help you out, make you feel a bit better, because I kind of walk through it more. Okay, and it's some videos showing stuff. Irish Akita, how are you? Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm visiting Spain to see my family in Barcelona from the U.S. Oh, that's cool. There are no direct flights. Would you rather go to Lisbon or Paris to drive to Barcelona? Where are you flying to from the U.S.? Like, you should be able to fly to Madrid or Barcelona. Like, Delta flies direct to Barcelona. United flies to Barcelona direct. So you could look at that. But if where you're going, there's no direct ones. I would probably fly into Lisbon because it's a lot easier drive going through Spain than it is going through France. So I'd probably do it that way. The distance-wise, I mean, it's about the same. So it just makes it a shorter flight, probably, to Lisbon. So that would be my suggestion. What countries did you not go back to? Either from being done or poor experiences. Honestly, I'd go back to any country, but here's how my thing is. There's country I'd go back to before I went to a new country. And then there's countries like, you know what? I want to go see a few more countries first before I go back. So I don't know. Some places I would rather go other places first. Yeah, Luxembourg, I'll go to other places first. Liechtenstein, unless I'm taking my kids because they haven't been. Andorra, I'd wait to go back to that. Where else? Morocco, I'm okay. I'd go to other places. I mean, Morocco was fine, but I'd rather go back to Tunisia first. So those are some ones there. So that would be some of the ones I'd say. For me, Montreal, Toronto. I like Toronto better, but Quebec City is my favorite. Bobby, can you survive Istanbul knowing only English? Yes, James Bond did it. And Bobby, you can too. Oh, Gallivanting Gals are on here. Hey, gals. Hope you're doing well. Can't wait to see you. Okay, so just a bill. What's your favorite hotel for a reasonably priced hotel chain for Europe in the summer? So Ibis is like the cheap one of the cheap hotels that I'll stay in, but only if it's just me. Because if there's two or more people, then it's too small. I don't like it. But if I'm just looking for a cheap, I just gotta like stay at the night at the hotel. I'll do that way. But there's not as many of the chains kind of stuff, just a bill as you have like in the US, where it's kind of like you're gonna stay in a chain hotel. It's like the opposite here. Simon, thank you very much for the super chat. Any advice on how to get from Hamburg to Helsinki? Cheapest, most time efficient, visiting exchange friends around Europe in May. Well, the flight from Helsinki to Hamburg would be your cheapest. You could theoretically do the ferry, but that takes a long time. Probably the cheapest way would be to take the ferry from Helsinki to Tallinn and then take a bus down to Hamburg, but you're going to waste a lot of time. Look at EasyJet. Look at Finnair. You might be able to find decent flights early enough ahead. That's what I would recommend. I've actually flown the Hamburg Helsinki flight before with Finnair, so there is one there. Just for the time constraints, it might be better. What you could look at is if there's not a Ryanair or EasyJet to Hamburg from Helsinki, look at Bremen or Berlin as a destination and then take a train from that way. That would be something to look at, Simon. But cool, you're going to meet your old exchange student friends. That's cool. I always love doing that. I love seeing my old buddies from back in the day. Yes, Lori is right. Travel insurance is a must for international travel. So Chris is asking, is the west rim of the Grand Canyon worth it? It is worth seeing, but for me, it's just the fact the south rim is so much easier. Then you go to Williams and you can go to Flagstaff, Arizona, relatively easy. You can see Meteor Crater. So there's a lot of really cool stuff to see that's there. So I kind of do that way. Jack, advice for Ireland in March. So don't go to Dublin around St. Patrick's Day because it'll be very busy and mostly drunk travelers. Locals don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day as much as you'd hope they would. Just giving you a heads up on that one. Let's see. Oh, Daniel Quinn, thank you very much for the super chat. I know you put the post in there. Sorry, it's not showing up on this thing, but thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the other one. That's very nice, man. Thank you so much. I'm going to see if you have a question in here. If not, send the question again so I have that. Okay, at Gunner, thank you very much for the super chat. Any hidden gems to see in Dublin? Trying to fill my third day there. Also heard horror stories about Randox at Dublin. Any advice for quick testing? We did that. If you go, I think it's on the Walters World. If not, it's on Walters World Shorts. We actually have a video where we did that. It was easy. It was so freaking easy. It's like you go where it says like go to get your rental cars. You go past that. You take the elevator down to the bottom and you walk out. There's signs for it. You go there. They shove it up your nose and tickle your brain. Pull it out. We had our results before we even got into Dublin. Okay. And we flew out the next day. So with the 24-hour thing, and we did that a couple months ago. It was not difficult at all. Find the video. I can't link on this thing, but just look that up because we also got a lot of hate on that one. So it might not show up very well in search because there's a lot of dislikes. I'm like, you have to test to go back to the US. So please, like, here's what you need to do. We all four of us did it. No problems. Okay. So I hope that helps you feel a little bit better. Let's see. Are there any countries rejecting business trips? Yes. There are. Some countries are like starting to be a little bit more open to it, but it was like basically depending where you're coming from, they're like, we don't care. Unless it's like you're from here or you have family here, you can vouch for you for coming. Ain't gonna happen. So there are those. You just got to check it out. It's not as many as it used to be. That has really opened up quite a bit lately. So there is that. Let's see. Oh, no, yeah, no, probably no direct flights from Seattle to Spain, sadly. And that's the thing is a lot of those old direct flights we used to have, like we used to fly Indianapolis to Paris all the time. That flight's gone but it'll probably come back in maybe another year. But right now it's not there. So this one is moving on to Wolters Black. Now, Wolters Pilsner, this is a beer. My last name is Wolters. It's a beer that when I saw it, I had to get it. So my friends would gift me like bottles of it and glasses. So I have Wolters glasses somewhere. They're in storage, but I had them. And all my family members have Wolters' last name. I gave it to them. And that's why I have them saved. So I give them to the boys when they're older. But there's always Wolters Pilsner, which I'll be honest with you, isn't that great. It's okay. But their Weizen, what I just had, their wheat beer is pretty good. And this is their Schwarzbier, the black beer. So as you can see, it's called Schwarzbier, black beer, because of the dark coloring. It's kind of like in your, not so much a stout, but it's stouty, but it's not. Yeah, I know I poured it horribly. Don't just hate me. Go ahead, put in the comments. I know how to pour beer. It's fine. We'll get there. So Winterwell, thank you for the second super chat for that. You can probably get that second one canceled since you sent it twice. So don't worry. Oh, Rachel to Fire. We were planning on it. We had stuff set up to go in summer of 2020 and it got canceled. What I would recommend is using a tour company to help you set things up. You might not do their tour, but they can set up the drivers for you and the accommodation, everything. That's what I would kind of recommend. Let's see. I was in at a core hotel. There you go. Yeah, Eurowings is another cheap airline. That's fine. IHG, yes, some of their places. They're not a lot of places, but they are. Best Western. Here's a hidden one. Best Western in Europe is usually really nice. Like I was like, wow, Best Western is pretty nice. Huh. Inside Lauren's brain, good to see you. I haven't seen you forever. How do you book flights to Lithuania? I was looking at it. It looked kind of complicated. So for those who don't know, I worked in Lithuania for 3.5 years. And so whenever I go back and forth, it was a pain in the butt. Not going to lie to you, Lauren. What I would end up doing is flying via London. And then I have like a 5 or 6 hour break and actually go into London for the day, have lunch with friends of mine, then come back to the airport and fly back later that afternoon. Like that's what I had to do. We will get to Nova Scotia. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Cal Travels. Tips on avoiding those crazy resort fees in Vegas. Don't go to Vegas because there's literally nothing you can do. I've gone there. I was there for a conference once. They charged me $35 a day for what was it? Like you got internet and you got the pool and you got the workout rooms. Guess what? The pool was getting fixed and the workout rooms were closed for renovation as well. But I still had to pay because you have internet. Yeah, it was super slow internet, but I still had to pay. There's no way out of it. You can try, but it's not going to happen. Don't waste your energy on that. So, EJ Slim, good to see you. I have not been watching the Olympics. I've been busy doing stuff. Am I buzzed? No, I've only had one beer. This is my second beer. Our oldest son does boxing, so I was driving around town until about half hour before we started this. So I don't drink and drive. So I didn't start drinking until I sat down with you all. So. Ooh, DW, is Ronda or other White Hill towns in Spain a worthwhile stop? Yes, Ronda. I love Ronda. You got to go. Ronda is well worth it. Well worth going to. Let's see. Do you think Jordan is the safest Middle Eastern country to visit? It is pretty safe. That we were supposed to go to Israel and Jordan for a trip, and that got canceled because that crazy stuff that's been going on in the last couple of years. So we'll be going back there. Hopefully, that's one of the 2023 trips. We'll be back there, so I'll be able to tell you more from my personal experience because I don't really like giving travel advice from places I haven't gone personally because it's not honest if I didn't do it myself. So I try to do the best I can. Let's see. If I get a chance, let me hire an agent, save me some trouble. Yeah, well, agents, here's the thing. Travel agents, I know I do most of the stuff on my own, but travel agents do help a lot of people out. So especially if you're going to a country you don't know very well, like if you never, you don't know much about China or you don't know much about Africa, they can really help you out with getting a place to stay, tours set up, all kinds of stuff. All right. So there is that. I go to Poland every 2 years. What city do you recommend? I only stay in small little towns. So 2 cities I love the most. They're in the very opposite parts of the country. You got Gdansk in the very north and Krakow in the very south. Those are my 2 favorite ones. I always recommend them. And actually, my neighbor across the way is from Poland. He's a good dude. You prefer doing Airbnb in Las Vegas? Not really, because I like being on the Strip. Because even though I walk all the time on the Strip, I just like the Strip better than being farther off. So Are you still a prof? Yes. And if you want to know, look below. Look, Professor, you can go to our Professor Wolters channel to see some of my marketing and business videos. Huh. Actually, I have to give an exam in the morning, so we won't be on forever tonight. I'll stay on for another 45 minutes because we got a lot of questions. I haven't been able to answer a lot of what's been going on. So I'll be on for a while, but yeah. So yes, I still do that. Let's see. Bobby, have you ever been to the Billboard Games Museum in Rome? Yes, it is cool as heck. If you want to go, it is not just like walk up kind of stuff. You got to book your ticket and have it set up beforehand. So make sure you do that if you're going to go. I actually look for like art stuff outside the Vatican museums. That's my favorite one to go to. Will I go to Taiwan? Yes, I've had so many students from Taiwan over the years. I would be insulting them by not going. So there's that. Dubai, that was a January trip that got canceled. So not this January, but January last year. So it will happen eventually. It will happen eventually. Do I recommend anything in Indiana? So Indianapolis, actually, what's the name of the museum? It's got a Swedish name, but it's for Native Americans. A fantastic museum in Indiana for Native Americans, but it's got a Swedish dude's name or a Swedish sounding last name. Dang it. That's great. If you can go to in Indiana, the Dunes, Indiana Dunes National Park in the north. Bloomington was actually okay. That's for a university town. It's a university town, so you have university funds, so that's okay. Yeah, so there's that. Is Portugal open for tourists? Yes, it's been open for tourists. They just have some the usual restrictions everyone else has. Got to test before you go and things like that. Are you teaching in person? Yes, I am. Well, actually, I teach an in-person class and I teach an online class. But the online class is an online class because it is an online class, not because we're online. If that makes any sense. Let's see. So Brian Smith. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm late. Catch me up on everything. Well, on everything, I'm only on my second Wolters beer and lots of travel questions being answered. So that's for 4. My mom wants to know, have you given Mark a thumbs up yet? Brian, you just got on, so you better do it, my friend. Yes, Notre Dame is in Indiana. If you can go there for a game, that is a pretty good experience. My father-in-law goes there for games and goes there for Christmas all the time. Doesn't spend it with us, but I will talk about that. Oh, Houston Lee. Any suggestions visiting Rhode Island, like things to do or places to eat? So if you look up what to eat in Rhode Island, simply Jocelyn, we have a video on what to eat in Rhode Island, okay? And also we have a 10 shots of Rhode Island video that's coming out next week. So Wednesday the 23rd? Yeah, Wednesday the 23rd. I think it's next Wednesday. A week from today, the shots of Rhode Island will be out for you. So be ready for that one. So that one's coming. We have that one coming for you. But the eats of Rhode Island, that's already online. You're going to have coffee milk, which doesn't taste like coffee or milk. It tastes more like a chocolate milk, but you'll see. Watch the video. You'll be ready to go. Will you be okay to travel to Hawaii for the New Year's? Yeah, you'll be fine. They've had more stricter testing requirements than other places. I don't know what they have right now. I don't know what they have in the New Year. Probably not much by then, but they were having non-Hawaiians have to test between islands too. Justin from my favorite part of Canada. Hello from Quebec. What is your top recommendation for New England? Looking forward to going once testing requirements ease up. So New England, I like going there in the fall because of the leaf changing. So like Vermont, New Hampshire, really nice for that. Boston is always a fun time to go to. Lots of sporting events, a lot of U.S. history that's there. A lot of good eating when you're there too. The Italian food in the north part of Boston is really nice. We go to Mystic, Connecticut every year. There's a seaport there we go check out. But there's a lot of small villages and towns you want to go see along the coast. Acadia National Park in Maine is fantastic, and there's a lot of small towns. Bar Harbor, Camden, Maine. There's a lot of small towns you can go visit in Maine. I really like that as well. So something there's good for you. Raging Fire, a recommendation for a good hotel for kids in Cancun, please. What I would do is go to TripAdvisor, look up Hotels Cancun, and click on child friendly, and then actually click on the option where it says people with children, and then people will give you some more information. The resorts, all the big resorts, they have stuff for kids to play. It depends when you're going to go, because if you're going to go to a resort in Cancun from basically end of February through March, you got spring breakers all over the place. So do with that what you will. So winter. Well, thank you very much again for the super chat. What is your favorite international destination? I think for South America, Brazil for me, but I would recommend Peru for people. For Europe, it's France or Italy. For Africa, I love Rwanda. The people just make it amazing. There's too many places. In the U.S., I'd probably go to New Orleans or Savannah. Love those. So there's that. Persian Princess. I would love to go to Iran someday. I've had a lot of students from there over the years, so I'd love to go back and see it and see what it was like for them in their homelands. So let's see. Oh, cool. So Chris says no test requirements for Portugal from vaccinated from the EU, UK, or US. Yeah, I mean, these are things that are changing so quickly now that that's nice to see. Okay, Mike, this is actually a question I think is really important. And this is one thing we always push family travel and multi-generational travel. So grandma, parents, kids, like you'll see my parents pop in videos all the time. My mom's on here right now. Heck, you can go to her channel. You can follow her on Facebook, all kinds of stuff. Last trip for parents in their 70s. This is one thing I want to say. One, don't say it's the last trip because that makes it really depressing. What I would say is the latest trip, the next trip. Because what I've seen is saying the next trip inspires people to want to get ready for the one after that. So it kind of keeps their spirit going. One thing I would say is you can't just take them. You have to get them prepared. Like one thing I would tell them is you all need to do your daily walks. Okay. Even if they're like, well, I don't like to walk. It doesn't matter. You get them walking, start with 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes, get them up to an hour walk a day. Because you have time to really plan it out and get that there. I think places that are worth it. One, I don't know where your family's from. A lot of times going to see where the great Grumpity Grumps are from, that's one that really tugs on people's heartstrings, especially when you get older. It's like, I want to know where I'm really from, where my family's from. I know my mom and we've been doing all these genealogy trips. We went to Scotland. We saw graves of our ancestors. We're going to France to see where they were as well later this year. So that would be something I would do. Is I would look for a genealogy thing, like something that goes back to your family. That would be one to really look at because I think that will get the biggest bang for your time together. And I know, so your 50s, I don't know if you have kids, Mike, but that might be something to bring your kids along as well so they have that memory, okay? Because I know for me, with my kids, I love the fact that they have not just they make cookies with grandma, but they were in Rwanda with grandma. And they were in Germany at the Christmas markets with grandma and grandpa, So those kind of things can really leave a lasting impressions long after they're gone. And that's what we want. We want our family to remember us and be a part of it. And those experiences really are really great. So that's something there. I'm not trying to like make you feel bad. So there's that. So, and Mike, thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate that as well, my friend. Daniel Quinn back again. Boom, 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 boom. So I booked to go to LA for my first solo trip. I love LA. The first 4 days I was in LA, I did not like it. But after that, the next 4 days, I loved it. I've already booked Magic Mountain because I love theme parks. Cool. Look up Knott's Berry Farm. KNOTTS, Knott's Berry Farm. That's another one you could go to that people really like there. But where else do you recommend aside from the obvious places? Yeah, Knott's Berry Farm would be something. I don't know how you're going to be staying there, Daniel. But if you can go down to San Diego, I really like San Diego as well. That could be a good trip. San Francisco's too far to go up if you only got a week or so. Because LA has got 4 or 5 full days of stuff to do. And then you put like two or 3 days in San Diego. Then you go out to Joshua Tree National Park, or you can go on hiking in the mountains just right outside of LA. So you got a lot of different stuff you can do. I've got a bunch of LA videos. I just put out like 8. And I've got one more coming next month for Venice Beach. So let's see. Oh, Baron Fang. Hey, hello, Mark. I'm going to Prague. Awesome. With my school class. Your videos really made me look forward to it. But my friends are disappointed because we wanted to go to Venice. Okay, I'll tell you right now, you'll have more fun in Prague than you will in Venice. Because Venice, you'll be so smushed together and hot and uncomfortable with all the tourists there. Prague has a lot of tourists, but it's easier to have more freedom there and not getting lost. So don't worry, my friend. You'll have a good time. I'm glad your school's taking you. That is awesome. Cal Travels, have you come up to the great peninsula towns in Washington State like Port Townsend, Sequim, Port Angeles? No, I have not. I've only been to Seattle and Washington. We were looking at doing a family road trip up there, but then the kids could do fourth quarter last year back at school. Well, the oldest could, so we came back to do that. So we only got we got through the Wyoming, Idaho, and then we came back. So I have not been there, Kyle. I wish I had. So will we do a 10 Shocks of Ohio? Well, we've done a Don'ts of Cleveland, a Don'ts of Columbus, and I've been editing the Don'ts of Ohio. So not a 10 Shocks, but there is a 10 Don'ts of Ohio that is coming. So I'm working on that one because I'm going back to Sandusky this summer to be at Cedar Point. So I want to get a little more B-roll of Ohio and a little shout out to Ohio for giving us Wendy's with their Frosties and their Baconators. Their fries still suck, but Baconators and Frosties are pretty good. So let's see. Oh, wait, can you please admit U.S. bacon? Oh, it's real bacon. We got real bacon. We don't get. I mean, center cut bacon's good, but back bacon, nah, man. We like the fat. Look at me. We love fat in America, and bacon is fat. And let me tell you, when you have bacon in Portugal, and it's got a little bone in it. You're like, what the heck is that? Change you forever. So nope. Won't admit it. Will not admit it. Will not admit it. Yes, I did end up going to California. I was in LA for about 8 or 9 days. I'll be definitely going there. Raging Fire. So India, that is one. I don't know if it'll be 2023, but probably 2024, because that's one place I want to go for at least a month with the whole family. And I can't really do that in July because I will melt unless I lose like 100 pounds. Then maybe we can go. But I'm looking to do like a winter visit there. So that is one on the things. I've had so many friends from India, so many coworkers from India. They're like, hey, come. I got a buddy of mine, like he was a student of mine. Now we're good friends. He's like, you come. I'm picking up the airport and we're going everywhere. Like he's already made the whole tour. I don't think I'll even get to travel like anywhere I want to go. It's like, no, you'll go where we go. So India is definitely a place we'll be there. Yes, you were right, buddy. Cancun is busy. Indeed. All right, John Hodges, thank you very much for the super chat. 14 days in Germany, 3 adults, 1 child, 13. 8 different cities to see. Your advice, asking for friends. Wow. Okay, so that's a lot of cities. I would try to have like one base and do day trips from it just to save yourself the packing, unpacking, because you're going to waste a couple hours every day just doing that. What I would do, Munich, day trip to Salzburg, Austria, day trip to Nuremberg. Well, it would be Salzburg, day trip to Nuremberg. You can go to Bamberg or you can stay in Bamberg and then go to Nuremberg. You're going up Harz Mountains with Quedlinburg, Weniger Oder. I love that there. Berlin, you can have there, do a day trip to I'm having a brain fart. There's a town right outside where they signed all the agreements. Starts with P, and I can't remember it. My brain is fried. That's nice. Southwest Germany, not really as much. If you go over by Frankfurt's not worth going to. Go to the Rhine region, or actually go to the Mosel region and go to Kokum, and you're going to try the Mosel wines. Those are really good. I know the 13 will not be very fun, but you can rent bikes and ride along the rivers. That's kind of cool. Or you take you ride down and you take the ferry boats back up the river. That's really cool. That's what I would recommend. So. Josh Lee, I have not been to South Korea, but my dad worked there a lot of times. My mom and I are still pissed my dad never took us. Let's see. Yes, Portugal many times with mom and dad. Indeed. Recommendations on Lisbon. The Ancient Art Museum is really good. I like that. The Gulbenkian Museum is worth checking out when you're there. The city beaches down by Cascais, that's the real worth going to. Day trip, you're going to go to Sintra to see the castles that are there. Another day trip, you go down to Evora. You can take a train to there as well. You get the Bone Chapel, and you eat the Alentejo pork that's there. That's really good. So that would be something I'd recommend for Lisbon. Oh, that's cool. My boys traveled with their grandparents because we could not, and took them places we could not. It was a great opportunity. Yeah. Getting the family traveling like that is awesome. That is awesome. Oh, Lori, thank you very much. Mark was spot on with his LA videos. And yes, John, you're right. Prague is awesome. Prague is the best. See, your teachers chose right to go there, my friend. Let's see. Any Americans in communist countries too scared? It's not the 1980s. Nobody really cares about that anymore. So look at the jokes that people make about the Washington Commanders. So don't worry about it. Arby's was founded in Ohio. So thank you for the curly fries, Arby's. Otherwise, like, you got the meats, but you're never open where there's one by my house and they're never open. So would love to see you do a National Lampoon style vacation style video, all the cheesy tourist trap type places. So I've thought about doing that on the Shorts channel, making jokes like that. Maybe I'll do that this summer. We'll start making some. Because right now I'm trying to get, because so many people are really trying to travel that my ideas for like funny parody things and funny joke stuff, I've kind of put to the side. That's why you haven't seen a lot of Professor Wolters videos of the Walters World Shorts right now, because I've been really focused on getting a lot of the bigger videos out, because so many more people are traveling. So that's why you've seen more don'ts, more shocks. I haven't putting out like, what do you know to tip? Or here's some like those little videos that not a lot of people watch. I want to get more people ready to travel. So that's why I've been focused on those. But yes, there will be some, Larry. There'll be some more fun ones out there. Let's see. British bacon. Potsdam, that's the name. Thank you, Laura. Primetime chasing. I'm from Singapore. Is it hard to enter the U.S. legally? No, not really. It just no, it's not. I have been to Indy quite a few times. I flew. That was one of the airports I flew out a lot back in the days. So lots of fun stuff. All right. So give me some more questions. All right. So I think I finally caught up on the chat. So now you can send me new. Oh wait, no, never mind. 400 things just popped. Okay, so Light State 11, where does Montevideo rank for you? I am headed that way. So Montevideo is nice. I like to go to the market when you're there. The square there is nice. There's a couple museums. I like the cathedral to visit. It's very calming cathedral. Have the chavito, the like steak sandwiches there. That's really good. The Tanat wine. You got to have the Tanat wine when you're there. It's fantastic. So Bobby, where'd you go? Bobby wants to know, are credit cards used a lot in Italy or is cash better? Cash is always preferred. Card is accepted most everywhere now, but it's still better to have cash. If you're going to get ice cream, it's cash. That's what you're going to do. One thing I will say, if you're going to Europe, make sure you have that like tap and go credit card. Like if you're in the Netherlands in the Amsterdam airport, you have to have that to pay for the soda from the vending machine. So there is that. Oh, Sonoma or Napa? Oof. Here's the thing. Going to vineyards, after about the third vineyard, they all kind of blur together and your teeth turn purple if you're drinking a lot of red wine. I want to say Napa, but I'd probably go Sonoma if I had a choice. So that would be something there for things. Rage Brown, you have so much patience. Any stories where you lost it during a trip? I've lost it before, but on a trip, I don't know. No, I don't know where I've lost it on a trip. I've been really frustrated with places. Like I've been more like lost it with myself. Like when I got shook down by the Border Patrol, Paraguay, Argentina, like 10 minutes after it happened, when I realized they just totally hosed me and it was a total shakedown, then I was upset. Sometimes I probably should have lost it, but I didn't. But no, not too many times. EJ Slim, have you been to any of the former Soviet republics, excluding the Baltics? Yeah, so you know that I lived in Lithuania, so Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. I worked all there, so those obviously. Russia, yes. Belarus, I was at. Now that was an interesting time. My buddy and I went, and it's like we got off the train, we walked around town, and oddly enough, when we came out of our hotel, these two girls were there, like, oh hey, they like we thought they wanted to practice English, and then the next 3 or 4 days we were there, like no matter what we did, we're like, okay, we'll see you later, bye, and then like we'd be walking around town, and they'd show up to show us around, and one of the girls was always like, the West is taking all of the intelligent people from Belarus. And I'm like, okay. It was one of those like obvious that it was a kind of a setup kind of things. So that was kind of interesting. Yuri, your top 3 countries in South America. So if I'm looking at top 3 countries for travelers, Peru, Brazil, and then Colombia or Argentina. For me personally, Brazil is number 1. because I live there and I have family there. Number 2 was Argentina because I live there. And number 3, I would probably go Ecuador because I just love all the different biomes they have there. Justin, hello, Mark from San Antonio, Texas. A wonderful place. I'll be there again this year for a conference. I love your videos you did here. This isn't a travel question, but what got you to become a professor? I love teaching. I love helping people. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love making these travel videos, because it's helping people travel on their own. Helping teach them how to travel. So if I can help people, it's what I like to do. Grace OD, you were here in Belfast. Did you like it? I loved it. I love Belfast. Honestly, if I had to choose between going to Belfast or Dublin, I would go to Belfast. I had more. I mean, I've always had fun in Dublin. I'm not going to. There's not a diss Dublin about, but except for the prices in Dublin, that's crazy. But I like Belfast, and we were there at Christmas time, so we got the Christmas market. We were there. It was really wonderful. Okay, we're planning on living in Portugal for 3 months. Very nice. We're in our midlife. Where would you recommend that we live? I would probably either go Lisbon or I'd go in the Algarve in the south for the beaches, because there's a large expat community down there. So if you don't speak Portuguese, you'll be fine. Like when I went down to the south of Portugal, I was most of the time I was the only person that spoke Portuguese. So that's one thing there. But if you want a real Portuguese experience, I would probably go to Lisbon, just because you got everything you want to do there. So that would be my recommendation. Rafa, how do you get your message on screen? I tap on it. I'm using StreamYard, and so there's a little thing. I just tap on that. So, Flopkey, should I be worried about traveling internationally as an American this November? No. I mean, I don't know. If another variant comes, nobody knows. I'm not worried. I've already booked stuff for November, so I'm going. So there's that. Let's see. What was the most shocking thing you saw when you were visiting places? So the most thing I saw is we were in Beijing, outside the Forbidden City, waiting to go in. It was like 104 degrees outside. There's no shade. It's just beating down. Now it's like noon. Like you're sweating so much, like you see the vein in your head going. And Caleb and I are walking around trying to find a place to buy a bottle of water. And we both turn at the same time. And at that moment, the crowd parts. And there's this dad holding his son above a trash can. And the son is pooping in the trash can. And the poop is Cheetos orange. And both Caleb and I looked at it. We saw it. We looked at each other. And we never talked about it again. But that was when I was like, it was just like, oh my God. So yeah, that was something. That was something. Definitely something. Daniel Garcia, thank you very much for the super chat. Hi, Mark. Best cities in Spain going next month for 10 days. So the best cities, Barcelona and Madrid, obviously, is the big cities. Other cities that are really worth visiting. Sevilla. I like Cordoba for the mezquita there. There's a church inside of an old mosque, and the double arches that are there are just gorgeous. That's really nice. Ronda, which is right by there, is nice. Oh, where else? There's the Alhambra you can go see in Granada. Granada's really cool. And the thing is, Granada's kind of weird to get to, but that's what I'd recommend to do that. Valencia is cool because you got Art Deco architecture, and then you have like the paella feeling. You got the beaches there. That's a really cool place to be. I like that. I like Valencia. This is a good one. Visa application for American citizens abroad. You will go, if it's American abroad, you go through the embassy of the country that you're actually in at that time. Lots of times. Now I know that's for a tourist one. Like I've gotten my Peru visa and Brazil visa through the Brazilian embassy in Argentina. And I got my Belarus visa through the Belarus embassy in Lithuania because I was in that country. But if you're going to do a living permit or a student visa, then you need to be in your home country to get the visa for that other country. So it depends what you're trying to do, Daniel. So I hope that helps a little bit. Let's see. Oh, thank you, KMP, for the super sticker. I'm sorry that it doesn't show up on here. I do see it on the travel chat on YouTube. So thank you for that. Hey, and if you do look up and you see on the questions, there's a little poll I have up there. I want to see what of the channels, of our other channels, do you actually subscribe to? Is it Walters World Shorts, Simply Jocelyn, Professor Walters, all of them? And if you haven't, please do subscribe because it would be really cool if you would do that. And it's really nice that you guys have helped support us that way. Let's see. Yeah, CJ, it was disturbing, very disturbing. Wow, most essential city to visit in Europe, I would say, is Paris. Like my four most, like, they're all big cities, but the four ones I think, I have a video on your first time to Europe kind of tour. It's London, Paris, Prague, Rome, because you go down that way. Those are the top four to see because it gives you such a different culture view, food view. You start to understand how different Europe can be. So that's one thing I do recommend. Flopkey, should I hold off on a Russia trip this year? I'd go, but you have to do how you feel. Okay. Best steakhouse and buffet in Vegas. You need to go to our friends Tanya and Dave at Turn It Up World. Look up Turn It Up World, best steakhouse in Vegas. Turn It Up World, best buffet in Vegas. They got a video on it. I swear. They are the Vegas vloggers, and they're our friends, and we trust them wholeheartedly. So I would look at their stuff, okay? Yeah, Cal Travels. I'm not going to show you. That was in 2013. We only started eating Cheetos again. When did organic Cheetos come out? Like 2019? Like, it was like 5 years, 6 years. We were like, nope. Even now, when I see the crunchy one, I gotta stop. I can't talk about it. Bleh. Let's see. Zaragoza is nice. That's true. Hey, Professor, do you ever have any interest in pursuing a career in finance? I did have a career in finance, and I just hated sitting behind the desk. So I want to go travel, and I love teaching. So that's how it worked out. Like, actually, my PhD thesis is in Brazilian banking during the financial crisis of 0809. So that's what I do. Thomas Gustavo Rodriguez Fonseca da Silva, my Portuguese friend, I'm going to guess. My wife and I are going to Prague and Budapest in April for a week in each city. Any tips aside from the main tourist attractions? Okay, so Budapest, there's multiple spots you can go to. Some are very touristy, but it's still worth going to. In April, you're going to do the indoor pools, but it's worth it to like get a massage and expect, if you're the guy, expect a big man named Igor or Ivan. It's like hilarious. I'm sure they fake their names just for the tourists, but they do really good like loose team massages. I would do that. That's really cool. It's worth it for the spend the money too. That's one thing in Budapest I recommend. Prague has their beer spas. That's tourists you don't have to do that. But in Prague, go to the Communist Museum. That's actually a really good museum to check out. I would recommend that. Also, don't go by the train station at night. Just saying. Okay, in Prague. So I hope that helps, Thomas, and thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Do you know how open Europe is right now to fully vaccinated Americans? You can pretty much go anywhere. You just got to probably, a lot of places you have to test before you go. Some places have dropped all the tests beforehand if you're vaccinated. What you'll do is you'll have to send like a scan or like take a picture with your phone and upload it of your CDC card with your vaccination stuff, and they'll take it. So that's what it is for a lot of the places. Where's the most intense, difficult place you have traveled to? I'll be honest with you. People are pretty much people everywhere in the world. I haven't really had any place that's super intense or difficult to deal with. So I haven't had really anything too bad like that. I've been very lucky that way. So biggest challenge of moving to another country as an American citizen. This isn't about American citizen. This is about just moving to another country, is realizing that moving to another country is not the same as being a tourist there. That's one thing. When I have students that come back from study abroad, they always want to talk to me like, Mark, you lived abroad for 15 years. How can I do that? I'm like, one, why do you want to study abroad? Why do you want to live abroad? Oh, it was so much fun studying abroad. I'm like, okay. Do you like the cable person? No, they're annoying. Well, you got to find cable in the other country. You got to do your taxes in the other country. It's not a vacation the whole time. That's the mentality you have to realize. It's not a vacation. You could have all the cool stuff, so it has vacation-like things, but you got to realize it's going to work abroad. Also think about what does that mean for your career. So there's a lot of different stuff to think about. Ooh, yes. Francis Margaret, yeah, the duck. Oh, any duck you can get in France, eat it. Yes, so many scammers. We have quite a few scam videos and tourist trap videos already. But I know over the next few months we have the scams of Prague, the scams of Italy, the scams of Europe. And for those of you who are like, why don't you talk about US scams? We already have a scams of the US video out there. So we got all kinds of scam videos getting people ready. I've had them for a little while. I didn't feel like it was right to put those out like in 2020, 2021, because people weren't traveling. Now that people are traveling again, those scams are back. The scams are back. Okay, so just be ready for that. Okay. So Cal Travels Hotel, how moving is it visiting Auschwitz and Dachau? I'll be honest with you, I've been to both. I've taken my kids to Dachau. They haven't been to Auschwitz yet. Auschwitz, what you have to realize, there's Auschwitz and there's Birkenau, Auschwitz too. And when you see the train tracks going in and the Lager, the warehouses and the that Auschwitz, that's actually Auschwitz too, because the Auschwitz one, it has like brick buildings and stuff, and it's very movement. When you go and you see the Auschwitz, like where the tracks are going in, and you're like, yeah, you came in, you got off, and then they walked them down there to kill them in the back, and it is extremely moving. That's why when people like the Holocaust deniers, you just want to punch them in the face. You're like, you piece of. And here's the thing: is we've taken our kids to multiple concentration camps because if you don't teach them about it, they don't remember. That's how this like denial stuff can happen. And so we are always very much pro go. Like we were in Rwanda, we went to the genocide memorials to see what was there, and they don't hold stuff back in Rwanda. Like it's like, this is little Johnny. He was 2. His favorite thing was a duck, and he died by getting his face smashed into a wall. You're like, oh my God. But the thing is, if you don't talk about it, you don't get people remembering, then like it's something else. So, all right, let's see. When is Japan opening for tourists? I do not know. That's one thing that's tough. The KGB Museum in Riga. Yeah, there's the Occupation Museum in Riga is actually pretty cool. I've been there a number of times. Armenia, Italy in June. We'll be there as well in June, so I'm not too worried about it. If that makes you feel any better. Let's see. Alonzo, I've not been to Palm Springs, California, so I can't tell you. I'm sorry. Laura says Switzerland's dropping 90% of COVID requirements. Yeah, I think the mask required on public transportation and flights, I think that'll be around longest versus like in museums and stuff. So there's that. Hey, Caleb Roder, hope you're doing well. Yeah, Netherlands are dropping stuff. So there's a lot of things changing. Have I ever eaten at a Michelin star place? Do you think it's worth it? I have, and they really are that good. The problem is when they get the Michelin star, it's like they add higher prices. So I don't eat at them very often. This is one of the things. If you ever watch our food videos, so if you go to Simply Jocelyn, all of our food content is moving on to there. So Eats of Vienna, Eats of Italy, they're mostly all that stuff's going to be on there. They'll probably end up changing like Walter's World Eats or something as a title. I don't know. But one of the things is we always say this is the food and the type of food you should eat. We don't say restaurants because restaurants come and go and their quality goes. Like I made a video that came out today that I filmed like 5 months ago in West Virginia, and the place I talked about to eat is closed. So I try never to talk about restaurants. I talk about this is what you should eat when you're there. That's why we have what to eat in Rhode Island, what to eat in Iowa, what to eat in California, so you have an idea, so you can find your own places. Exactly, Cal Travis. Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. So let's see. Do you travel with Platinum Amex? Yes, I do. I have a Delta card for that. Yes, the Italy scams, that's supposed to come out in April. I want to have all the scam videos. I got a video, what to know your first time for Europe. I have all that stuff. I'm trying to put that all out April, May. So when people are going for the summer stuff, like you're going to see a big switch. If you notice the last year, we've been having mostly US-based videos. Starting in March. Well, actually, we have a Turks and Caicos coming out this weekend, but starting in next month, we've got Ireland videos, we've got Slovakia videos, we have France videos. You're going to see a lot more change to the old Europe videos that everyone's used to us making. We're going to see that because that's where people are going to be traveling to. So you're going to see a big switch from us. You'll see US occasionally popping up, but at least for March, April, May, and June, it's going to be much more international heavy videos. Okay. Let's see. Oops. Wow. Sorry. Let's see. When and where in Italy in June? I'm not going to say in case you want to come rob my house. Bobby, we just dropped masks for outdoors. Still need them indoors. Yeah, that's good. That was actually, there was one time I was looking to travel, and I ended up canceling the trip and doing a different trip because they had outdoor mask requirements. And I'm like, well, I got to go to film, and I can't film with the mask on. So I wasn't going to do that because I didn't want to get arrested for not having it because some places were very, very strict with it. So that's one of those things. Yeah, the Holocaust Memorial. Yeah, I can't imagine. Like that's one of the places I wanted to go when we were in Jerusalem. So Shirley wants to know, is Athens a good place? Athens is, but you don't need a lot of times in Athens when you're going to Greece. I like the islands better, to be honest, and to go explore. Athens, Acropolis, New Acropolis Museum, the Parthenon. You go to National Museum, eat in La Placa, then go to Nafplio, go do a day trip to Delphi or something. But yeah. Yeah, 9/11 museum, the 9/11 memorial in New York. That's one time one of the times I almost lost when people were being like duck face selfie in front of the memorial. That's when I was getting upset. Or like the Jewish memorial in Berlin, people were like using this parkour, and their justifications. Well, the artist wanted to be lived on. I'm like, yeah, lived on, not being disrespected and used as a parkour course. And at least now the Berlin government like stops people from doing that, so that's nice. So, Cranky Babushka. That is an awesome name. That is an awesome name. That just makes me happy. Tips for anxious person in a plane. 1, alcohol. 2, realize it's a heck of a lot safer to fly than it is to drive. Heck, it's a lot safer than walking down the street in a lot of places. So, and also, this is something that helped me. Those pilots don't have to take off if they don't feel comfortable. So all those people that are working on the plane, they want to get home too to their families, and so they're not going to fly unless it's safe for them too. So that's one thing that really helped me out a lot. Just B, I have to leave now, but thank you so much for the help, Mark, and others. People in chat are equally as helpful as Mark. The community is great. Yes, this is one thing I got to say thank you to Liz and Derek and Mark and Terry and just Simon, everybody that's been on here that's been helping everybody out with the questions. That's one thing I love about our live feeds because I can't get to every single question. Okay, if you want to be a patron on Patreon, we actually do a monthly like live where it's just the patrons and members on YouTube. So if you see the join on YouTube, you can join up. And we'll actually have time to really sit and discuss some of these things. Instead of me trying to answer a ton of questions, we'll go more in depth on things. And so that's something you could look into. But that's really nice. But I really say thank you to everybody that helps out with everything and helping people. So thank you so much too. Thanks, Joe, for pointing that out. Laura's excited for the new international videos. Yes. Oh, and editing them, I'm like, oh, I missed there. Oh, I want to go there. Oh, I want to go there. I was editing the don'ts of Belgium and the shocks of Belgium that are going to come out in I think March and April. And I'm like, oh man, I want some mussels and some beer. I was like, I want mussels and beer. Oh god, that was so good. MCC12, thank you for the solid video, Cleveland video. Your videos are great, but it was very nice to see my hometown. Hey, I'm glad I could. I actually really enjoyed Cleveland. I mean, I can understand why people get upset and be like, oh, mistake on the lake. I'm like, actually, that was the stadium. But it's actually a nice town. I mean, of course, I could say it's a nice town for a middle-aged guy. Okay, so maybe if you're young, maybe it's not as cool, but there's that. Yes, future trip to Australia, New Zealand, probably not for till maybe Christmas time, 23, 24, because we want to go for the summer. We want to go for their summer, so that's probably going to be closest where it's going to be. I've not been to Egypt, Dylan. We were supposed to go there summer of 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen, so that's going to be something in there. Nick Weber. Besides a drinking holiday, I like what you're thinking. What else is good in Ireland? Actually, Ireland is fun for the people staying in the castles, hiking, seeing just driving around, taking in the nature, the Cliffs of Moher, the Barren, the Ring of Kerry is really beautiful. Killarney National Park, Kinsale. Just go to a pub, even if you don't drink, going to the pub at night when there's live music, eating there and taking in the atmosphere. You can't beat it. It's so wonderful. Yes, as Cranky Bush says, thanks for suggestion from everyone. Yes, it's been great. Terry's laptop's out, so she's dying. We're at 2 hours. I'll probably wrap up here in about 5 or 10 minutes. So you got some questions? Throw some more up there for me. I'll try to get some to you. Chocoflan. Oh, that sounds good. Which one should I visit? El Salvador, Nicaragua, or Costa Rica? Which is more worth it? I can only choose one this year. If you're going this year, I would probably go Costa Rica. It's got the best tourism infrastructure, and it's also the safest of 3 to go to. So that would be one thing I would say. I've been to all 3. For me personally, I like Nicaragua the most, then Costa Rica, then El Salvador. Let's see. Yeah, Eric B said Cleveland seemed cool to me. Derek says each time Liz edits our UK videos, we're like, let's go back. Exactly. Every video I make, I'm like, I can go back there. I'd like to go back there. I'd like to go back there. It's always nice fun. Let's see. So HSN Cardiff, this is a good question because a lot of people get scared off staying at castles because they think it's going to be expensive. So are castles in a place like Ireland very expensive to rent? Well, if you rent the whole castle, yes. But like we stayed at Kennedy Castle, you'll see that in some of our Ireland videos coming up next month. And it was like, I think it was like $140 a night. I'm like, that's cheaper than the Hampton Inn, like down the road from me, you know? And I'm like, that was a pretty good deal. And I had a full Irish breakfast. I'm in a castle. Of course, they had to say, did you hear the ghost? Because I think you're in the haunted wing. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So yes, it's not as difficult as you think. Now you can get the ones that are really expensive, but not all of them really are. Let's see. Italy or Spain? I would go Italy. Spain is fun. I know when I take my students, Spain usually works better because it's a bit cheaper. So there's that. Have I ever lost anything genuinely valuable from a pickpocketer? I've never lost anything from a pickpocketer. Jocelyn lost a wallet once. Actually stole out of her diaper bag with Liam in the stroller because they're scum. So there's that. Ich fahre nach Deutschland. Wann? Ich meine in Dezember. Wahrscheinlich Dezember. Let's see. Hi, Mark. Do you ever feel like you interrupt your kids' lives when you take them traveling so frequently? No, I don't, because I make sure they're in school. And it's different when they were younger. I took them out more often. There was no problems. Now that like one's in high school, I don't take them out as much. Like we go for the holidays and days off with them. We'll go travel on our own without the kids. But when it's stuff for them, I'm like, look, you're seeing the world. This is helping you grow as a person, helping you learn about the world so you're more accepting of the world. So it's worth it every single time for me. So I never would pass it up. Now I don't force him to go. Like I'm supposed to go to New York with Caleb, but I've told him like he wants to go hang out with his friends. I mean, he's a teenager. I mean, it's New York, which is cool, but it's with my dad, who's a loser. You know, I mean, not a loser, but you know how teenagers are. But I'm like, look, it's up to you. I want to go with you to New York. If you don't want to go this time, we'll go again later this summer or something. That's fine. But I want them to want to travel with us. So we have that. But sometimes like, no, y'all are coming with us. Oh, Motor City Autographs. Hey, Mark, enjoy the videos. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. I'm really glad you like the videos. It's really nice. Hey, if you haven't yet, if you all could hit the like button as we get ready to sign out. We've been here for a couple hours. I just want to say thanks to everybody. And it's been really wonderful to see all of you on here and supporting us, but supporting travel and supporting each other, helping answer questions for everybody, letting everybody know some good destinations and things to do. And I just want to say thank you for all the support you show us. And I want you to know, we're going to be doing more lives the next month or two, because once the summer hits, we're traveling. I'm going to be filming, so I'm not going to be able to do a lot. So I want to help people get prepared to travel. So we're going to have a lot of different random live feeds going on. Not a lot, like every other week we'll probably do some, but it'll be on different channels, whether it's on Walters World, our main channel here, or maybe on Walters World Shorts, or maybe on Jocelyn, Simply Jocelyn channel. So do subscribe to all of our channels. So when we are live, you can hop on, but we'll announce them when they're on there. So do that. But I just want to say thank you, everybody, for all the love, all the support. You all are the best. It means the world to me to have such other wonderful travelers out there, because you making these videos so wonderful that I know I'm helping awesome people like you. So I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful week. I get to give an exam tomorrow. And what's great is my kid's school already got canceled tomorrow because we're going to have like this much ice. But I still get to go to school. I got to give my exam. So I wish you all the best. Have a fantastic week. and I will see you next week online. Ryan Wrigley, thank you for the super chat, and I'll say good night, everybody. Thank you. Bye.